Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to Tokyo Ghoul episode 11 review. Whoa. First of all, let me start by saying this, because I want to jump right in. I was stunned. I was shocked to see the CCG, in essence, mow down. They mowed down over the majority of the ghouls they were facing. Suzuya. This guy took care of a bunch of people in like the second floor that were shooting down below upon the CCG with ease. Motorcycle, yeah, and then he jumped in there, yeah, and it's over. And I'm like, now, I guess what throws me off is that because it's not really explained in full detail, but I remember that the police and the people without the suitcases, the guys that use actual like machine guns and handguns, they have a special kind of bullets. I forgot what they were called, but they were referred to back in the story. However, even if the bullets are special in some way, shape, and form, the fact that you have these ghouls die from gunfire, I think that's what's really throwing me off. And I guess because we're so accustomed to seeing like high-tier ghouls, like I can assume that when it comes to the majority of ghouls in Tokyo, and maybe even across the world, who knows? Because obviously ghouls, they just don't reside in Tokyo, but still. I'm pretty sure that when it comes to people like Toka, she's like high-tier among the ghouls. That's my assumption. I mean, obviously there are guys who are stronger than her, but still, to find out that like the regular ghouls, like average Joes, can be taken out by bullets to the head, throws me off. When we've seen people like Tsukiyama well, to be fair, we didn't see it, because of course they censored that shit out. Oh, white censor, black censor, bars, like what the fuck is that? But still, because I'm so accustomed to seeing ghouls regenerate and recover after eating some flesh, or just in general, just recover and generate. So again, it throws me off. I mean, take a look at Nico. Nico took Jason Yomori, like, yeah, and all this side of his stomach was gone. It was just gone. And he got off on that shit. He got off. Like, oh, this is the best. I'm like, wait. What? So, again, I'm thrown off. I would consider, in order to kill a ghoul, you have to, like, I mean, take a look at the damage that Nishiki took when he was up against, well, not up against, but when he was in that whole situation involving Tsukiyama. Again, I mean, Kaneki, for Christ's sakes. Look at the damage Kaneki gave Nishiki. And he was alive. He lived. He was breathing. Oxygen flowed through his nostrils into his lungs. Thrown off. Massively. So, I'm shocked. I thought that it was more or less going to be like an actual battle. And it is, to be fair, because there are some ghouls among Aogiri tree that are just devastated. The Bin brothers were okay. They're not bad. They're like mediocre at best. I mean, they're S-rated, and their combo attacks are pretty cool. But Amon, whoa. Now, I think here, what we're seeing is something fascinating. But before I get to it, I want to mention the other stuff about the ghouls among Aogiri tree. So you have the Bin brothers who were taken out by Amon. So they're S-rated, and in essence, they should be stronger than Toka, maybe Ayato, because Ayato actually seems very powerful. I would actually consider him to be S-rated as well. The fact that you had him just block all those bullets, like he was nothing. Then there's another dude who, and this is how you know this guy's powerful, and I'm assuming that Eto, not Edo, yes, you know, I think his name is Eto, or Ita, the guy who made Kaneki's mask. You have him. No, because Edo's the girl who's with Tadara. That's right. So you have this guy. You have the guy who made Kaneki's mask. you have Sugiyama, and you have Yomo. And they're taking on this one dude. 3-on-1. That's how good this guy is. And they're massively on guard. Well, except for, like, Sugiyama, because Sugiyama, he's just hungry. And actually, we find out that Sugiyama, he ate himself in that situation. That's why he's still alive. So it was assumed that he was dead, but because he consumed his own flesh, he's able to recover. Again, another property that ghouls, they can consume their own flesh to recover. So even more so of a reason as to why I'm stunned that these guys are getting taken out in one shot to the head. I mean, I guess, boom, headshot, yeah, works for a ghoul, but still, it's like, it throws me off. And then you have what's going on with Kaneki. Now, this is very important. This is huge, quintessential. Well, you know, before I get to Kaneki, let me talk about the other things that are going on among the CCG, and then the Aogiri tree. Then you have the CCG themselves. The captain, Maru, shocking. Because even though he was in like the truck and he was ordering the men around, when it initially kicks off, he grabs some dude's gun and starts firing. Bam, bam, bam. And he takes out these guys easy. I'm like, what? Like, that kind of surprised me. Because he seemed to be like a dude that really wasn't that good. But he was phenomenal. Yeah, at least in that short amount of time span. And then when it comes to Suzuya, again, very impressive. Off the motorcycle, takes out a few guys. He takes out all the guys on the second or third floor, and then it's over. So again, Suzuya, very impressive. Then you have like the other folk. There's one guy, I forgot his name. He took out like 2 ghouls with like a katana type Quinke. Then you have another person, I think it's a girl or a woman, who has like a machine gun type Quinke, who took out a bunch of ghouls, and they're just cleaning house. On Aogiri Tree side, again, they have the Bin brothers who were taken care of by Amon. So Amon, he's getting a lot better. And then you have the one-eyed owl, who I'm assuming is the one-eyed king, who I'm assuming is Tatara. That's my assumption. A lot of assumptions here. But there's mad hype. Like, this guy had like a Togoro-type power-up moment. Where, like, I don't know what to do with this Quinke, but this Quinke has like 15 different things going on. And you're like, what is happening with this guy? Oh, I gotta see him fight. Because if he is a one-eyed ghoul just like Kaneki, and according to the lore, again, the one-eyed ghouls are more powerful than the regular ghouls because of the fact that, well, initially speaking, ghouls and humans aren't supposed to be able to mate, but in some cases they can, and they create one-eyed ghouls. So the one-eyed owl, and by the way, like when he like whizzed past Amon, I was like, whoa, like just silent and big. Like that was the 2 things. Okay, the 3 things I noticed. He was quiet. He was huge, just like the way he was animated, and the air itself was like rippling. And I was like, what is that? Like that was good. That was a pretty ominous scene, and I loved it. That was very good. Now, Kaneki. I mean, to touch on the animation real quick, the animation, I just wanted to see what was going on, at least some of it. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, like, when they did animate that centipede, yeah, no, that centipede did not look good. Alright, I had the shivers, because I was just like, whoa. Like, Yomori, where are you putting that centipede? Nah. No. But still, the fact of the matter here is that, I mean, when, for example, animation, Amon takes out the Bin brothers, we don't even get to see their faces. All you see is like their, heads get cut, kind of, and that's it. The rest of it is just blacked out, and it's bullshit. Whatever. But they did a good job in showing you the environment when it came to Yomori's place. And the blood was everywhere, and it was dark, and it was creepy. You had Yomori himself just laughing and enjoying himself. All the nails that Kaneki had on his fingers and on his toes were already like removed. Then, what they did, and I guess I don't know if I can classify it as animation. I would assume that you can, because it's not really a visual aspect, but more so it's an audio aspect. where it's the sound. Like, you can hear the sound of Kaneki, and he's screaming. And when you have Yomori explain about how there's this serum, like this RC serum, I forgot what it's called, where you can inject it into ghouls through this part of your eye, and it prevents the Quinque from activating. And you can just hear the sound of him doing it, or at least to a certain degree. So you know what he's gonna do, and then you hear the sound of him doing it, and then you hear Kaneki yell and scream. And obviously, it's gruesome and it's horrifying without the visual aspect, because they blacked it out in so many cases, like black. Now, in the manga, I don't know. Maybe you guys can clarify in the manga if they actually show you more, because I'm not gonna say that they show you all of it. I mean, that centipede thing, I don't want to know where it goes. I don't. I really don't. But yeah. But thing here is that I'm pretty sure that they're gonna show you more in comparison to the anime, even the Blu-ray when it comes out. So again, they did a very good job in capturing the horror of this scene through the audio alone, and from the fact that you knew what was happening. So again, that was good, very good. And that's like the only good part of the animation, because they're still censoring. I mean, that's just the honest truth. And then the fights were, there were no real fights going on aside from like a few scuffles here and there. That was it. Like, the main thing were just scuffles. Now, I want to touch upon a few things, and I'm gonna call it a video. Number one, old man Anteku. Like, the only scene that you get of him is him getting ready to do some shit. And you're like, yo, old man. Like, because they're trying to buy some time for the boys to, and of course, Toka, to save Kaneki. And it's like, whoa, like, old man, like, wait, what are you planning? Like, what are you doing? Like, are we gonna see, like, the old man go into action against the CCG and stall time for not only, well, just stall time for Antigua to go in there and get Kaneki. Very simple. So I'm fascinated, and I want to see this supposed devil ape. All right, I want to see this guy, if he could actually do something. If he could, and here's why I was very, maybe this whole devil ape story that this guy makes up isn't actually a story. Maybe it's actually reality, because I forgot what her name is. Because it's like the first time we've actually like heard of her name. But it's the girl, it's the woman who's with Hinami. She's able to hear everything and like perceive like she's fucking Zebra from Toriko. Like, she can hear anything within like a certain radius, and then she can perceive the location of like Anteku members' footsteps, and if they've infiltrated or not successfully, and then the CCG and what they're doing, and so on and so forth, just through hearing alone. I was like, really? Whoa, okay, that was very impressive. So, because she's very impressive, I'm thinking, you know what, maybe the devil ape is real. Maybe this dude actually has some OD powers. Who knows? We're going to find out, obviously. Or at least, hopefully, we should find out. The next thing is, at the end of the episode, white hair. I was like, okay, so now we understand what happened here. Because when you have Shinohara explain about the backstory of Jason, how Jason, beforehand, he was never like this, alright? He was actually just like a ghoul who was being interrogated, and the interrogator, the investigator, I mean, again, they're called investigators, but they're not investigators, they're exterminators, alright? And they investigate this ghoul, like this one guy did, and in this, he would have extreme torture, alright? And Yamori's doing the same torture that he got upon to Kaneki. So basically, what we have going on here is Yamori, during that period of torture, he had to change his personality to where he, in essence, made an alter ego of himself so he can escape from the pain that was going on. An alter ego that could handle what was going on and pretty much become the guy we see today, Jason. So Kaneki, because in the opening, we've seen it before. In the opening, we see a white-haired Kaneki. And I always wonder what that was. Like, what is that white-haired Kaneki? Like, who is that person? I mean, well, I knew it was Kaneki, but I was like, okay, right, so like, what happens to Kaneki where he becomes this guy? Now, you see, this is probably Kaneki's manifestation of either Rize or like a whole new alter ego. So, that's crazy. And it looks like something happened where maybe Jason's already dead. Because, I say that because you look at the scene, or you look at the room, there's more blood on the ground. More blood than usual. And there was a lot of blood beforehand. But now there's more blood than usual, and it's kind of like you see white hair. Like glowing white hair. I'm like, oh shit. Kaneki maybe broke out. Or after his hair turned white, Yamori let him out because he was enjoying the moment, and then he got killed. Some shit like that. Who knows? No idea. But we're gonna find out, obviously. But this is where Kaneki starts getting hardcore. I can see it. This is the moment where he starts becoming hardcore. Now, the next scene, or the next thing I want to talk about here. Fascinating. When it involves Amon, and we're basically getting a greater character insight. And in essence, we're getting another perspective of the character Mado through Amon's perspective. Now, through the perspective that we always had, through, let's say, Toka and the other ghouls, and what we see in general, and the tricks that he employed in order to kill the ghouls and so on and so forth, you really thought that Amon was like just Mado was just like a really bad dude, a really sick fuck who had probably a very troubled past and something involving his wife and the one-eyed owl, the one-eyed dragon. But the thing here is that it didn't justify what he was doing right now. And the fact that you're initially getting to know who these investigators are, and they're actually running roughshod and killing all these ghouls, it kind of really throws you off a bit. However, when you get Amon's perspective of Mado, the mentor, the person who is of great wisdom, almost hermit-like, almost. Sage, no, not hermit, sage-like, there we go, that's more appropriate, almost sage-like. Where, in essence, it is, we as human beings are physically weaker in every aspect than ghouls. We can train our bodies to the peak, but we still can't overpower ghouls. So how is it that we're able to compete with ghouls and investigate them to this degree? The answer is trickery. We employ certain methods, we do certain things to trick and fool ghouls, and therefore we remain on top. We maintain order. Fascinating. This almost justifies, if not does, justify every devious act that Mado has done in the past. When it came to, and I guess in the sense, what Mado did at first was perceived to be so cruel and unusual because of the fact that he was doing it upon not just regular ghouls, in essence regular, like, you know, like middle-age or 30, 20-year-old people, adults if you would, but also on kids, like Hinami. Like, he had no bias. He was messing around and mentally torturing little girls to get his way. However, when you take into account what was said in this episode via Amon's memory of Mado, all of a sudden you start to realize, wait a second, but in the end of the day, even though he was the one who mentally tortured Hinami, it was Hinami who wound up killing Mado. And the fact the fact is that ghouls are much more powerful than regular humans. Even a child ghoul is. Again, Hinami's the one who killed Mado. His arm got caught and he didn't even notice it. So, that is very intriguing in itself as well. The justification of the cruelty of ghouls. So, that can give you, because to me it did, it gave me a new aspect on the character Mado. It did. I'm not saying that what he did was right. but it gave me a whole new look on the character. And that's really it, to be quite honest. So, the animation, again, it was good, and it was more so the audio, though they're still centering as usual. And there were some parts that are actually, again, very beastly. Like, for example, the two parts that I liked a lot, aside from the audio of Kaneki's incident, or Kaneki's situation, were the scene where Tsukiyama takes out his Quinke to fight against the dude who took out all these members before of the CCG. And it's like a lightning aura around his Quinke when he activates it. That was pretty damn cool, I'm not gonna lie. And again, it was the whole Togoro-like power-up of the one-eyed owl. That was beastly. It was like, whoa, like, what does this guy have? He has, like, pads, he has these weird, like, step-up things that emit these sparks, he has these huge, giant, spear-like protrusion out of his back. I'm like, what is going on with this guy? Holy hell! So, I'm stoked for this guy. And there's something off, too, because even though right now it looks like Anteku are successfully infiltrating Aogiri Tree, and it looks like Aogiri Tree are getting just mowed down, in essence, Shinohara did mention that something's off, like there's something not right here. So, there's probably some kind of plan that is in place by the one-eyed owl. And there may be a Aogiri Tree comeback moment that may be possible as well. Especially if this guy is so powerful where he can take on Amon, Shinohara, the other dude, and all these experienced investigators with ease. Oh yeah, then we're getting somewhere. So, I'm done. King Lightning, overall the rating is going to be a great, and I will see you guys later. Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.